Hello, how are you doing today, my favorite students and students of WAS and JAM? For students writing this year WAEC exam and JAM exam, I am believing you're gonna do well after this video because in everything we want to do, talking about exams, every exam have their system, the stats, the basic principles, the key knowledge you need to know in order to do well. All right, so today we're going to be talking about how to prepare for your WAEC exam and JAMB examination this year. All right. Are you aware that for WAEC exam is quite different from your internal exam? The way you prepare for your JAM exam is also different from your internal exam. Of course, it is because in WAEC exam and JAM exam they both have syllabus. So if you want to do well, the first thing you need to ask yourself is what are the syllabus for this subject? Maybe your subject combination is biology, English, physics, and chemistry. In each of the subjects, they have their syllabus. You have to read with syllabus. Without syllabus, of course, you're reading a miss. Same goes with WAEC. I know a lot of students doesn't know that, so I'm telling you now, I'm giving us that opening, understanding that all these exams have their syllabus. And if you want to do well, you just have to read with your syllabus. All right. One of the things you should learn while preparing for WAC exam or JAM exam is to read for a long time. If you are still in the realm where you read for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, that is not good at all. If you want to prepare for JAM exam, you should be reading at least 6 hours, 12 hours at maximum. Yes, of course, 12 hours at maximum because you are dealing with an exam that is an A level exam. So you have to sit yourself down and read for a long time without losing concentration. Read for a long time to the extent that you can even remember all what you've read in exam hall. This level of reading is important. If you have not gotten yourself to this stage, that means you are not yet ready. The JAM exam is a very, very high standard exam. Same goes with WAX exam. All right, what are the things you need to do in order to do well in your WAS exam or JAM exam? Okay, use your senses while reading. Of course, some of us will say we've read, but then when you ask what you've read, you may not be able to give account for it. Now, that means you didn't read. You just passed through it and wasted time for nothing. You read with your conscious mindset, you read to understand. You use your senses while you read. All right, and while reading for a long time as well, an exam that will take place in the next 1 month, 2 months, or even in a week. All right, you don't read in a particular place for a long time. You can't continue staying in your room or your library. You can change environment. You could stay at the balcony, at the back side, under a tree, somewhere cool, serene environment. Just ensure you change environment in a cool places. The psychology of this environment is it helps you to remember what you've learned. Yes, it has been proven. When you read in different places, those places helps you to remember what you've read. So you should learn to read for a long time in a month or weeks exam coming forth at different strategic locations. So that is one. Another one is read and attempt to pass questions. In 2015, one of my students, a very by name, was able to come out with a flying color in his JAM exam. One of the reasons why he had challenge was it was robust. I don't want to use the word fat, but it was so big, so big. You understand what I'm trying to say? So, as a teacher, I understand what he was passing through. He came to me, he said, "Sir, I can't attend these classes over there because I don't want them to laugh at me. So, what will I do? I want to write my JAM examination." And I told him, "All right, it's okay, my dear, it's okay." I gave him a simple formula that worked and is still working. And what did I tell him? Study the last 10 years JAM past question. Every day, Ebere will sit down, studying, sweating hard. Everybody are playing. He'd be sitting down, reading. He comes to me for one or two questions. He goes back. he kept reading. He was able to install all these questions in his head, and not only that, he was able to understand them. He was able to go through the topics where they came from for more knowledge. Iberi was the best, and by God's grace, he is a student of medicine. He was a student of medicine. I believe he's already a graduate. The last time I checked, he was some years back. He was at 300, 400 level, University of Port Harcourt, and that was amazing. He never attended any tutorial classes. Now that's the power of past question. So you read with past question if you want to pass your WAEC exam or JAMB exam. Another one is be timely when answering questions. It doesn't make sense if you know all the questions and then you could finish it in 4 hours, but then the stipulated time on that exam is 2 hours. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So every exam question has a specific time limit. So you must learn to adapt to that time. In fact, if by um, by calculation, a question is around 30 seconds. You should learn to answer a question in 15 seconds so that if the hours are like 2 hours for the exam question, I mean for the paper, and you're able to finish in 1 hour 30 minutes, then use the other 30 minutes to revise to cross check. Now that is wisdom. So you need to be timely when answering questions. Very important. Another one is you understand question layout before answering or starting. Most of the time, students don't read instructions, students don't read the guide. Some calculative question will tell you and approximate to two decimal places, and someone will just get the answer and that's all. So you have to learn to approximate, but then you have to read instruction to see that. If you don't go through the instruction, you definitely made a whole lot of errors and you'll be sorry for it. So when preparing for JAM WAEC exam, learn to read and look at instruction given for that particular categories of question. Spend time on what you have less knowledge about. Yeah, I know out of fear, a lot of students wish to read more on what they know. I know a boy that prefer reading civic education every time, every time, every time. And I know that's not his core subject. And then I know what is happening to him. And I was able to talk to him, give him reasons, help him to understand that these other subjects are the most important. Though you don't know them, we're going to find a way out of it. It doesn't really make much sense if you are reading the subject you're already good at. You just have to learn to read those ones also you are not really good at. It's going to help you, all right? It's going to help you because that's where the problem comes. The problems are not on the ones you know already. The problem is on the ones you don't know. So you have to spend more time on the ones you don't know. Face it. Have the courage to face it and tell yourself the honest truth. This will come. If I don't get prepared for it, it's going to hurt me. All right. And another thing you need to do when preparing for this exam is try to explain each point clearly based on how you understand the question. Yeah, some questions are always specific. It doesn't necessarily go the way you want it. It may not necessarily be tailored the way it is in textbooks. Some questions are application questions. All right. Out of the knowledge attached or surrounding that particular topic, a question is twisted and thrown there. So you have to answer that question according to the way it is. It doesn't really matter if it doesn't look like what you know. You just have to answer it the way it is. And then you give specific points. You make your point very clear. Some questions will say define photosynthesis, and you see two marks. And I could just say photosynthesis is a process whereby green plant manufacture their food. Well, that's what it. But then another case again, you see something like what is photosynthesis? Now, this is a biology topic. What is photosynthesis? Now, the word words and the word define are not the same. And probably when you check that question mark attached to it, what is photosynthesis? We're looking about 4 marks. Yes, that's because they are not the same. That means the word wants you to put more information. And when you put in information, you put the keywords. All right. I could say photosynthesis is a process whereby green plants manufacture their food using the chlorophyll in the leaves, water, mineral salt, carbon dioxide, and through the aid of sunlight to produce starch, which is salt in large quantity to produce glucose, which is stored in large quantity as starch in the plant. Now, that is more like a formal answer to a question. So when you are answering a question, try to be very clear with the points is important. The question is asking for simple question, give them that answer it needs. That's for theory questions like a WAS exam because JAM is objective question. So this particular skill is for WAS exam. So take note of that. Another one again is don't panic on questions you cannot provide solution on. Yeah, we all have that phobia. Even before entering the exam, we also have phobia. But you just have to understand that it's an exam. It's tough, but you're going to give it your best shot. And that is why we're telling you this. I'm telling you now, learn to read for a long time, learn to prepare yourself so that when the time comes, you face it all head on. All right? You don't need to get panic, okay? You don't need to get panic. The only reason why when I get panic is when I am not prepared. All right, if I'm having an exam that's coming in the next 3 months, I need to do the needful now so that I would have a trauma, that feeling, when you're not prepared, and that is where the fear comes in. But if you've done the needful and it's time for the exam after months or weeks, just go in there and get yourself ready. Expect the worst and prepare for the best. That's the only way you can achieve great success. All right. And when you come across question you cannot really answer, just keep it. Some years ago in 2019, I met a girl in the exam hall in a class exam. She was attempting mathematics question. After an hour, I think the whole question is 2 hours, 30 minutes. And after an hour, she's still in number one or two and she should be number six. And I know with the way it is, time is already against her. And I asked her simple questions. Hello, what's the problem? And she said, Sir, I know A, I don't know B. I know another question again, another number. I know A, I don't know B, or I don't know C. And I'm like, okay, it's all right. It's all right. Can you just do the A you know and leave the B you don't know and go to those you know? By the time I came back after 30 minutes, she has attempted seven questions. And that was awesome. Because some question, when you do the A, you discover that the knowledge in the A will be used to answer the B. So if you're looking at the B and the A before you attempt the question, it may be difficult. So that actually helped her a lot. And another thing you need to put on is when short of time, pen down point, very important. Oh, the question that maybe you have like 20 minutes to go, all right? You have like 20 minutes to go. So, and it's like get ready to submit, and you have like two, three questions to see attempt on, all right? What do you do? Go on point taking, go on keep pointing, okay? Keep pointing. It's far better off because every question needs a key point in an expansive way. But now you're short of time, just go on keep pointing. That will help you skip time. Another one again is, which is the last, is submit and relax. Yeah, you need to learn to accept your best and also learn to relax. All right. Once exam, for example, is a month exam, you need the best of yourself in every of these papers. So you can't kill yourself in one you felt you could have done better at that. You just have to relax. There's nothing wrong after an exam. You take a break, you play a game, you do one or two sport events, you take a long walk, you watch a film. Yeah, those things helps to release out the energy and the stress so that you can get better in the next paper. And also, when you are preparing for WAS exam, always believe you can do it, all right? Because we are going to start from somewhere. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody can do that for you. So in life, always believe you can do it and have circle of good friends, okay? Tell me your friend and I'll tell you who you are. If you say you want to be a medical doctor and you are dealing with some funny folks around, it's difficult to achieve that goal. And if you're dealing with friends that read very well, if there are six friends and five of them read very well, that means the next one is you. And if there are six friends and five of them are so playful, doesn't follow the right preparation for an exam, the sixth person is still you. So keep good friends that read very well, ask a lot of questions, and trust me, you're gonna do it right. I believe you'll make your WAS exam this time around, and your JAM exam is gonna be super duper cool. I believe you can do it because you are the best. I remain Chris. I remain Chris Love, your favorite student companion. See you in the